I'm having a crash out moment right now. We're gonna do something a little bit different today. This is not a fragrance review. This is a complete crash out about a fragrance note in particular that keeps coming up in all these fragrances that I'm sampling, that it's absolutely terrible, and I can't figure out why. Let me not get ahead of myself. Patchouli. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about patchouli. If you're just somebody who takes a look at fragrance notes casually, you may have heard of patchouli, but maybe you aren't able to identify what patchouli is when you smell your fragrance. Well, I can identify the patchouli because every time I pick it up in a fragrance that I try, I can't stand it. Patchouli, as it occurs in nature, is actually in the mint family, which makes absolutely no sense at all. When it gets used in modern fragrances such as Jimmy Choo Man, Hawas, the original, and YSL Y Intense, these are just the three examples that I have of patchouli in my collection. Patchouli comes across as this really dirty, musky, earthy note, and to me it smells like death. It's almost like a sour, expired, like vanilla ice cream note. Like I imagine vanilla ice cream that you left out on the counter and then went on a 2-week vacation and came back and mold is growing on the outside of the box now because of just how long you left it out. That is what I think patchouli smells like to me. God, I hate to say this, and I'm really, really sorry if I offend anybody when I say this, but have you ever smelled like an older person and they just have that kind of just like sour smell? Like I don't mean to offend anyone when I say this, but I think most people know what that scent is. That to me is kind of what patchouli reminds me of. And this is no disrespect to the elders. I just genuinely, that's really the only kind of reference point I can draw to. If I had to guess why perfumers are using patchouli in their fragrances, I would say it's to boost the longevity of the fragrances. So I usually see patchouli as a mid note or a base note, depending on the fragrance, mostly a base note. And I think we see perfumers adding it to fresher fragrances to boost the longevity and kind of give it a darker kind of take on a fresher scent. And so kudos for trying to increase the longevity, but the problem here is when you have patchouli in the base notes, when you sample a fragrance in a store or you sample it off a tester strip when you're in Neiman Marcus or wherever you sample your fragrances, if it's in the base notes, you're not going to pick up on the note. Sampling your fragrance in store on a tester strip is not going to give you the accurate scent profile of what this is going to smell like once it dries down on your skin. It's usually when the fragrance dries down on your skin that earthy, in my opinion, mostly sour patchouli starts to come out. And in my opinion, it's awful. One example of this I'm going to give you is Jimmy Choo Man, just the original. A fragrance I sampled in store was like, this is great, it's sweet, it's fresh, it's versatile, like I would wear this to the office, I'd wear this anywhere. Picked it up and came home, sprayed it on my skin, and after about 4 or 5 minutes, after it started to dry down, the patchouli started to come out. And immediately I'm like, something's not right here. Something's off with the scent profile of this fragrance. I had the exact same experience with the original Hawas for Men. Like, I love the opening. When I smelled like the outside of the bottle, when I sprayed it on a tester strip, when I tried it at the fragrance outlet, I was like, this is fantastic. I mean, it's known to be long lasting. It's got this great scent profile, super fresh, super sweet, super fruity. I'm loving what I'm smelling. Bring it home, spray it on my skin. Few minutes goes by. Patchouli. Fucking patchouli, man. And my most recent negative run-in with patchouli is this right here. This is YSL Y Intense EDP. Now, I've already gone on this channel and said I think YSL Y EDP, the original, is the new greatest fragrance of all time. It can be worn in any situation. I'm not even gonna go into it in this video. I think it's the new greatest fragrance of all time. And so I was really interested in trying out some of the flankers of the line, including Le Parfum, Y Intense, Y Live, Y Elixir. And this has just been such an astounding disappointment. They've taken that beautiful Y EDP DNA, that beautiful ginger, bergamot, citrus, and they've just totally sanctified it with patchouli, just this earthy, disgusting patchouli base note. It's wrong. It's wrong that they do this. Now, I want to be fair and I want to give credit where credit is due. There has been one fragrance that I have sampled that was a very patchouli forward fragrance that I thought was really, really well done. And that fragrance is Fulton & Rourke's Devil's Garden. This was a spicy and sophisticated fragrance. And I don't know if just more spicy and earthy tones kind of complement patchouli in a much better way for me personally, compared to adding patchouli to what's supposed to be like a fruity, fresh, sweet, aquatic fragrance. Because patchouli has that musky, earthy kind of tone to it, maybe it just kind of complements better in fragrances like Devil's Garden. I don't know if kind of the incense and the warm spicy and amber kind of essence to that fragrance really makes the patchouli, I don't know if it's enhanced or if it just kind of goes with it better. That is an example. I have to give credit where it's due. I think that is a very good fragrance. I would buy the full bottle even. But I'm not letting YSL or Jimmy Choo or Hawas or any of these fragrance lines that are adding patchouli for the sake of longevity and just totally destroying fresh and sweet fragrances DNA with a note that makes no sense to add. Now, I'm not an expert perfumer. I don't know how they make fragrances, okay? Admittedly, I'm not an expert perfumer. So, I don't know what kind of thought process goes into adding these notes. I cannot imagine the quality of the scent profile is the reason. Now, I'm open to being wrong here. Let me know in the comments, do you love patchouli? When you smell one of these fresh fragrances and it's got that patchouli note that either comes out in the mid or the base notes, is that something that you like in that type of style? Because I have yet to been able to find a fragrance that I think is well done in this way. I don't know if it's the specific type of patchouli that's getting used in a lot of these designer fragrance lines. I don't know, maybe it's just me, my personal taste and my scent profile, but I really wanted to come on here and make this video. I don't see a lot of long-form fragrance content made around specific notes themselves, so I wanted to come on and just see what people thought about patchouli in general, and see, am I the only one who feels this way? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're interested in more discussion-based fragrance content like this, I encourage you to check out some of the other videos on my channel. Consider giving this video a like, and even subscribing to the channel, as it helps my growth and it helps me push my rants and crash outs about patchouli to more people who need to hear this. The people need to hear this. Let the people hear this. But you don't have to if you don't want to. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you in the very next video. Peace.